Hello and welcome to our latest project, a scheme called Woodworking for All. We've been ever so lucky to secure a grant from the National Lottery for around £550. The grant involved us buying quite a bit of wood, and you can see me carrying this through now. And what we're going to do is cut the wood into different kits and then give the wood out to the different volunteers that have come forward, who will then make that wood into planters, bird boxes, and we'll then give the completed bird boxes and the planters, which we'll plant up with plants from the park, and give them out to residents that have either lost somebody or are going through a really tough time. And what we want to do is try and bring people together who are, as I say, working on the one hand or isolating on the one hand at home, with those that have lost somebody on the other side of the different positions that we find ourselves in at the moment, and really lift people in all sorts of ways and allow people to feel great about helping others, even though they'll be doing it from home. Now, if anyone's ever worked with wood, it's a hugely tactile experience. So the people that are making the planters and the bird boxes will benefit massively from this as well. And our long-term idea is that this will allow us to create a woodworking club, so people can work from home, all ages, and then come together once a month in the park cafe over a brew, and in time discuss ideas about the boxes they're making and so on. So it's the almost the start of something more long-term, as well as giving us a short-term lift for all the residents in the area that are suffering at the moment through long-term lockdown conditions. So the plan of attack today is I'm going to bring in all the wood from the front of the house where it's been delivered, put it in the garage, and then with the help of Bob, who is a brilliant carpenter, we're going to cut that wood up into little kits. And if anyone's ever brought some home pack furniture, it comes in a pack, in a kit, all measured out and cut all to the right lengths. Well, that's what we're going to do today, is cut all the wood into the right lengths and measures that will allow us to develop the planters and the bird boxes for everybody to make up. So I'm going to crack on and get this wood in the garage, and then in a bit we're going to start making it. And in there, at the end of the alleyway there, you can just see Bob now, who's come to help me get that wood cut up. So thank you to Bob and his brilliant help. We've managed to get the wood into the garage, so this will keep it nice and dry for the next few days. The plan of attack is we'll come back on Wednesday and we'll start cutting it up in all the sizes, and I'll go through what those sizes are going to look like in a minute. But yeah, really good job again, because this is a lot of wood and it's actually quite heavy when you're carrying it, as I quickly discovered. So huge thanks to Bob for rescuing me with that, and I'll show you the designs. So this is the design that we've gone for. I've drawn it up so it's as simple as possible. So you've got measures 20 inches in length. There are 4 of those. B measures 10 inches in length. There are 2 of those. There are 4 C's, which are more decorative, and that stops it looking like a drawer. And D, the actual feet. And what I've done is I've done several designs starting from 1 to 7 that gives you each of the builder a simple series of instructions and steps, and I'll give you an example of what one of those 7 drawings looks like. So this is stage 1, nice and simple. Just a case of putting the two 10-inch pieces against one of the 20 inches. So this gives you the 2 sides against the front. And then repeating that is the other front against the 2 sides, which then gives you the box. Again, very, very simple to do. Once your box shape has been created, it's then a case of putting the 2 bottom planks on. And that again is nice and straightforward. The 2 bottom planks are measured the same as the sides, so to the front side, so again 20 inches both, and they will support the weight of any compost and soil. And once the base is done, it's just a case then of putting the decorative pieces inside. These could be screwed or drilled, and again, I was really pleased with my drawing at this point. I was never very good at technical drawing at school, so my old technical drawing teacher will be amazed that I've managed to roughly pull this off. And then finally, it's just a case of putting the feet on. Again, these could be screwed or glued in, and that gives you the finished planter. And again, this just takes you to the finished product, which you'll see some examples of in the video shortly. So we are now at the stage where all the wood's in place. Bob's hard at work. He's measuring the different cuts of wood. For the lengths for the planters, we're roughly working around 20 inches length by 10 inches for the sides. And Bob's got his fantastic cutter there, which is saving us so much time, as you can tell by the sheer amount of wood that we've got here in the garage. If you were to cut that by hand, not only would it take a month for Sundays, but you'd also have arms like Popeye. So this machine is fantastic. It's cutting it up at a good rate of knots, and I say Bob will measure each cut, then he'll cut the wood. Now on the other side, you'll see me, and I'm using a sander to just roughly smooth off the each of the cuts that we've got. And the bits I'm working on there are actually part of the feet for the planters. The idea is that when we give them out to the woodcutters, not the woodcutters, we're the woodcutters, when I give them out to the assemblers and all their home sheds, they're not going to get lots of splinters, bearing in mind some of these kits are going out to young children and their parents and grandparents. The last thing we want is anyone to get any splinters, so I'm just sort of tidying them up and so on whilst Bob cuts. And at this point we were really working well. The weather wasn't great, you can probably see the rain there, but the courtesy of this garage door is that it feels like we've got this protection here against the rain and the elements, and a wider garage. So yeah, that's worked out really well. So although it was wet, we were dry, and we were able to keep the wood dry as well, which was even more important. And we were making really good progress. We were very automated at this point, and Bob is an absolute star. He really has made a big difference to this project. And so yeah, we'll crack on and keep cutting and sanding, and we'll have all this wood ready to go to the next stage. And this is what one of our completed planters will look like. This is our prototype model. Now, we were joined at this stage by our park secretary, who you might recognise is Michelle, and she's she's playing a key part of the process as well. She's now come to bag up the woodcuts that we've made, and without this will get really confusing. So the purpose of this is that each bag will have all the right parts in it. It'll have a bag of screws, it will have all the different cuts, the lengths, the widths, the legs, and the little functional bits that we put in there to give the planters a really nice feel and look. And without this, we would be in trouble. So she's bagging them up, and these will then all be collected the next day and distributed to all the different teams out there that are going to build these planters up. So yeah, so at this point, Bob was cutting, I was sandpapering, and Michelle was bagging everything up and putting all the kits in together and all the right different orders and so on. So yeah, again, really efficient use of our time and really productive, as you can see. And Michelle was doing a great job. We couldn't have done it without each other. And here are the completed bags ready for distribution. These will be picked up by Peter and Paul, our 2 volunteer deliverers, and they're going to go to all the home woodworkers, and they will then start building up the planters for us. So here are 2 fantastic deliverers, Paul and Peter, and they've done a fantastic job. They've got over 50 kits out, and as you can see, the first 2 boxes or completed planters have returned. And what's lovely is, A, they look great, and also people started to add their own little touches, and you can see one's been painted. So yeah, really pleased with that result. Now what happens next is these are going to be planted up by our volunteers in the park, and I'll do a video about that in part 2, and then we'll get these planters that are planted up out to members of the public that have lost somebody, and let them know they've got a park family and a community that cares and loves them, and they're not alone. So join us for part 2 as we plant the planters up.